Welcome, everyone. It's been a while, but we are back with the Real Trekkies cast, episode 6. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Daniel. What's up, Daniel?
Hello, everybody. How you doing, Joe? It's great to be back.
I know it's been since July was the last time we did the Real Trekkies cast. Only had 6 episodes, but that's going to dramatically change, I predict, with Star Trek coming out this year. We're probably going to have quadruple the amount of episodes. I think by December, hopefully the goal is for us to have 60 episodes. So we'll see what happens, but we'll see. I'm not promising anything, but we're going to have Daniel do some news on the next Star Trek movie, Star Trek Beyond. So take it away, Daniel.
Okay. It says here, Star Trek Beyond is reshooting and adding an entirely new cast member. And, I don't know. I'll try to screen share this.
I'm gonna screen share it when you talk. So go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, it's adding an entirely new cast member, and okay. It says here, Justin Lin's Star Trek Beyond is coming in a few short months, but news just broke of reshoots as well as the addition of a new cast member. Deadline reports Shiora Agashelu, 24, the added to the cast as the High Command of the Federation. Okay, we spoke about the film with Lin several months ago. He sounded very confident about the direction it was going. However, this news suggests something was not working when people finally watched the whole thing together. The good news is, if there was a problem, these reshoots are happening to fix it. In theory, they'll improve the movie, though it is a bit worrisome for a new actress to come onto a project this late. If Agashelu character is
Agashelu. I think that's how you say it. Agashelu. Okay, yeah, Agashelu. So she's gonna be what? The Madam President or no? What is she gonna be?
Yeah, she's gonna be like the president and
of the Federation.
Yeah.
United Federation of Planets.
Yeah. If people don't know her, she was in X-Men: The Last Stand. She was a character in X-Men: The Last Stand. It was like, yeah, and. Which I like that movie.
She was Dr. Kavita Ray. Yeah, Rayo. Yeah. Okay. So that's what she was. That's pretty cool, man. I mean, I think, if you got to make the movie better by doing reshoots, that's what you need to do. So
yeah, good. It was really, I think this is awesome. And we already read this, and the second article here is First Contact Day, and they added 2 new people, and I really like this. Yeah, it says here. Wait 1 second, a little bit slow, but here, Star Trek Beyond director teases cameos for First Contact Day. Okay. So it says here, Star Trek has been a host to a lot of firsts. It was the first primetime series to use the wagon train to the stars premise, blending the Western and science fiction genres. It was also the first show to feature an interracial kiss between 2 of its main characters, Kirk, William Shatner, and Uhura, Michelle Nichols.
That was a great episode, by the way, but yeah.
That was a good, I think it was Plato's Stepchildren. That was a good episode. Yeah. And, it was also the first. Yeah, it was also the first major franchise to reboot its film using an alternate timeline. Okay. Internally, though, one of the most significant firsts to the actual premise is long-running franchise is Earth's first contact with the Vulcans, taking place just after Zefram Cochrane's successful test of his warp vessel, the Phoenix, on April 5th, 2063. In honor of today's significance, Star Trek Beyond's director, Justin Lin, decided to celebrate with a little first contact of his own. The director posted a still on Yomf from the first. I don't know what that is. From the first day of shooting Star Trek Beyond. The post was also intended as a contest featuring 2 actors in alien makeup. The first person to guess the identities of the 2 actors will win a crew shirt and a signed poster. Both unavailable until after the film's release, due to spoilers for the film, and because the poster hasn't been finalized yet. Click the link above. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, most intriguing though are the identities of the 2 actors involved. Lynn says. Okay, so
So we don't know who the actors are.
no, but they look familiar, especially the one on the left. He looks familiar. You know. I think it's kind of cool. I think his hand looks cool, you know, and everything.
Right.
And yeah, like Lynn claimed to work with these 2 before. So, hey, you think one of them could be Vin Diesel? That'd be cool.
I don't think that's Vin Diesel, but isn't that other guy the guy that's on the right? Isn't he? Well, this guy's got to be built, you know.
Yeah.
So, could he be a wrestler? Could that be like Kane or something? I mean,
probably.
We have to find out. We have to find out.
Yeah. So
maybe he's a wrestler because he looks pretty built. The other guy looks skinny, so I don't know who that guy could be. But yeah.
So yeah, just
look cool. The costumes look cool. I mean, the makeup. These aliens look cool. I mean, this guy on the right looks like a warmongering race, you know, and this guy on the left looks more like a jokester race that causes mischief and trouble. But I could be totally wrong on that, you know. Just from looking at him, you know, it looks, you know, very. So I think this is going to be very interesting. This is supposedly they travel to parts of Starfleet, parts of the galaxy they've never been before. So these are different races that nobody's ever seen. So again, that's what they do in Star Trek. They see new races. So,
but you know, people are already complaining, like, oh, you know, we never saw these guys.
I think the problem is that the timeline's changed, so there's different missions, and they're exploring areas of space that they probably still haven't explored in Voyager time. So, you know, the galaxy is a big place. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people like to pick on these new movies, especially the ones like the people who like the old Trekkies who don't like the new Trek.
I don't think all because I'm an old Trekkie and I'm not picking on it.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying a lot of people are doing that online. You know, and
I mean, I like the fact that they are going to be, you know, going to planets they've never been before, different regions of space. That means that by the time they reach Next Generation time, the whole timeline's going to be so dramatically warped and different that they technically, I'm wondering if they're actually going to, let me throw something at you, Daniel. What if after Star Trek 4, right, J.J. Abrams decides, you know what we're going to do? We are going to go to Picard's time. Only it's going to be his Next Generation where none of the characters are there. Like the timeline's going to be so different that it's going to be Enterprise D, but it's going to be completely different characters on Abrams' universe. How would you feel about that?
That would be nice. I would like that. Yeah.
I mean, what if they say because due to the events of Into Darkness that Picard's one of his ancestors was killed, or some of the people that made up Next Generation's parents or grandparents were killed, so they never existed at all. And now you have a whole different timeline for Next Generation where it's totally different crew members and everything based on this point in time. Based because of these variations and ripples and different things, the timeline, by the time you reach next generation, it could be that, the technology is even more advanced. Maybe they have different wars going on that was not like stuff that happened. Maybe they have a war with the Borg, where the Borg wipes out the Federation because Picard and Riker are not there to stop it. Like Riker's not there to stop Locutus because he's never been created, Picard. So maybe the Borg take over the Federation is a whole different timeline. There's so many things you could possibly do. That's one of the wondrous things I love about different timelines is you could play with it, and you could create all these different things that could be so dramatically different and unrecognizable because it's an alternate reality. This is not the real. This is not the prime universe. So J.J. Abrams could say, "Hey, I'm going to create my own Star Trek movies in the next generation time," and then have completely different actors play completely different parts and shape his own universe based on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. And okay, like I like the idea. I know, like, okay, I don't really buy that Back to the Future timeline thing where, okay, you go back and you accidentally prevent your family from meeting, and then you erase yourself, and then there's this other thing that's going on where it talks about coexisting alternate timelines or universes. Like you go back, you change something, you don't overwrite. You don't destroy your timeline or your universe where you come from. You actually create a new one, but you can't go back to your original one. But the key word here is coexisting alternate timelines. You know what I mean? Coexisting,
right?
Which means they both
technically, the only way Spock could go back to the future is he has to go back to the past and basically time it perfectly where when that thing opens and the Romulans come out, Nero and all that, he could go in undetected in a cloaking device and basically go back to his timeline that way. So in order to get to the future, we would have to go back to the past of this timeline and then hijack go through, and then it closes, and then he's still on his timeline and all that stuff. That's the only way, because you can't, from going from that point in time, it's a whole nother timeline. So he has to go back through the past from when that thing first appeared and go through the portal or whatever that thing was.
Yeah, I hope he did make it back, like eventually. I hope he did, but I don't know. I think you're gonna say, like, since Leonard Nimoy passed, unfortunately, they're gonna probably say the character passed on New Vulcan.
I don't think so. I think they would make something up that he went back to his timeline. I think that honestly that maybe they would do something like that, because I don't think they would have it that he died in. I don't know. Who knows?
Exactly. So, like, it just, creates like, remember we were arguing with this a while back, like, we were like, I was like saying this is like, when Nero went back, he created a coexisting alternate timeline, and you were like, no, it was erased.
It is based on, here's the thing, Abrams changed the rules of time travel, because basically, like, going from that philosophy, the way Star Trek was sort of like Back to the Future, because when Enterprise C went through the wormhole, it erased the whole Next Generation time. And that was the Yesterday's Enterprise episode where Picard was captain, but was more of a battling, warmongerish, like militaristic Federation, And Guinan was still there trying to tell him, look, you have to fix the timeline, and you have to send you have to send Enterprise C back where they belong. Because basically, by interfering with the timeline, the future was altered. It was blurred. It was erased. So they did fix the timeline and they basically had something that didn't affect the timeline directly, because the thing that was added was Tasha Yar in the past gave birth to a half Romulan, half human, which was her daughter. and she was the villain in the current timeline with Picard. So that event didn't alter the timeline because it was just not known, I guess. But it was fixed. The timeline was fixed. So when that's the whole thing from what we've seen from Next Generation and Voyage and all that stuff. Like we had Captain Janeway go back in time to prevent the Borg, to end the Borg basically, and to give them the shielding and stuff like that. She wanted to save the life of 7 and 9 and Chakotay, and basically she infected the Borg with the virus, and they wound up going home. They wound up going home, and she wound up dying, but the regular Janeway, lived. So
what?
No, so what I'm saying is, when Abrams did it, he made it that now it's the hot topic about the multiverse, that they all exist no matter what, and there's like a million different universes for Star Trek, and a million different universes for Ghostbusters, and a million different universes for DC, The Flash, and Marvel, and Marvel even said that in the comic books. They said that they named the universes. Like the main Marvel universe was 616. Now it's called the Prime Earth, but that was the Prime Universe. That was what Marvel had. They had it by numbers, just to identify it, and that's now everybody's just accepting that philosophy as probably realistic, that really is the case, where there's multiple Daniels in different universes, multiple everybody. It's an accepted theory, So going by that philosophy, with Martin Science, Abrams is saying that, I guess that thing is saying that there's multiple timelines existing at the same time.
So yeah, it's great, and so if that's true, then if we can also say that that timeline from yesterday's Enterprise still exists too, even though we don't see it. It still exists,
right?
Which is exciting, because you think to yourself, man, I wonder what happened in that timeline, because the last thing we saw was the Klingons advancing on the Enterprise. So, what happened? What do you think happened in that universe? Did the Klingons conquer the Federation? Because the flagship was...
So my thing is, even if there was multiple timelines, that timeline was created because of an altering. But once it was fixed, that timeline really didn't exist anymore. In that case, that timeline was only created, and that was not. It was undone, basically. So I do believe that timeline doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's really interesting, because it can go either way. I mean, I like to think that it still exists. It still does exist.
Look at the episode with Worf, where he was phasing into different universes. That he was. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then he all combined, and then but he found out that in another universe he was going out with Deanna Troi, and not Riker. And then that sort of, by him coming back to the regular reality, he wound up having a relationship with Deanna Troi.
Yeah.
Which caused conflict with Riker, even though they were still on the same team. In fact, they even alluded to that because of the events of All Good Things, Worf and Riker were enemies, because in that timeline, Deanna Troi was dead.
Yeah.
So now, and of course, Data was alive. So because things were altered, that timeline never took place, and the timeline never existed. And maybe Deanna Troi is still alive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because she did, according to Star Trek Insurrection, she did hook up with Riker, and then they got married in Nemesis. So.
But it's like the movie timeline. The movie timeline only existed because Nero went back and he went back in time. That's why it exists.
Right.
but this timeline will always exist. You can only create new stuff.
Yes.
You can't destroy it. You can only create it. So like, yeah. So you know how like, okay, I like to think of it like this. I know it's kind of weird, but
You know what it is? You know what it is? I don't know if it's but the past traveled to the future in yesterday's Enterprise, but the future traveled to the past in the Star Trek movie that was Abrams.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's how that universe still exists.
Yeah, because like see, this is how I like to think of it. I know it's kind of weird. This is what I said on my Daniel Star Trek cast last time. All right, think of the universe as a chick, right? As a girl.
Okay.
And she's constantly putting out.
Oh my god, dude.
What I mean by putting out is I mean having babies.
Okay.
And these babies are alternate universes, right? She's the original universe, and she constantly giving birth, and you know she's doing this for eternity.
Or you could be like the queen alien having alien eggs, you know, like aliens, right?
Yeah, and these little babies are like alternate universes, right? And she keeps on producing and reproducing, and it's like for eternity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, but it's like when you go back in time. So let's say like 1 trillion universes are being created like every second, right? When you go back in time, and you do something, you're pretty much just forcing her to produce more. Like let's say she gives 1 trillion babies, right? A second, you go back in time, you force her to reproduce even more, and that's pretty much it. I know it sounds weird, but this is how I like to think of it.
What if the theory is that there can be 1 trillion universes, but by parallel worlds or alternate timelines, but because you go back in time, you create 1,000,000,001, and that's not allowed according to there is a limit. Mm-hmm. So that kind of affects everything, really, because like in yesterday, we can use that excuse for yesterday's Enterprise. That universe was never meant to be, so that's why it phased out, because it was artificially created by meddling with time.
Mm-hmm. So like you can create new timelines.
Not meddling. I mean the past travels to the future, alters the future. But going from the future to the past, maybe the timelines could coexist. I don't know.
So like it's awesome. It just keeps on going forever. It's like an eternal thing. You know, you just more and more gets created, and this is very interesting. I like thinking about this stuff. It really excites me because
I'm gonna send you this video, and it's very scientific on YouTube. You're gonna go crazy about it.
Yeah, I love that
stuff. You like that stuff, so
yeah. So it's just really, really interesting, and So what I want is I would like to see maybe this timeline, maybe this new Enterprise. You know how probably goes into the original timeline for like I don't know, have an adventure, and then maybe they can have like crossovers, right? Like CBS and
it's hard to do because the actors are some of them not alive anymore.
Oh really?
So you can't really do it unless it's a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I mean, like if you're trying to have it with the original Scotty, James Doohan passed on, and DeForest Kelly, you know, McCoy
like next generation people. You know, like maybe we can have next generation people come on to new Enterprise and stuff, and
they're older too, by the way. So I mean, Troy's in their 60s.
Oh yeah. Oh,
you know, I think so. They're all. I think she's in her 60s. I mean, they all are older than they were. You know, so that's why it's a little more difficult. I mean, it's like a fan thing. You know.
So I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, I have faith that this new movie will do well. I mean, what do you think?
I see. The only thing I know about it is that they're trying something dramatically different. You know, that they're doing it without the ship. They're sort of like trying to do a take off of Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock, where the ship gets destroyed in that movie, and they're without the ship at the end. Which I don't, you know, I don't know if it's gonna work, dude. I mean, I'm hoping it does. You know.
I mean, I don't know. I know why they're doing this. They're doing this because like the old fans hate the new Enterprise. The new fans love it. The old fans hate it. What they're probably trying to do is they're trying to please everybody, and you just can't. You can try, but you can't please everybody. So like they're probably trying to please the old fans by making a new Enterprise that looks more like the original. But then the new fans might not like that. So it's just kind of hard to find a compromise. You know what I mean? I would say should have just kept the old Enterprise. I don't know why they destroy it, but also they probably did that because they wanted to save money. Because the budget's $150 million, so they wanted to save money. So they destroyed the Enterprise, and now they're on like a planet. I think it's cheaper to film outside.
Right.
So, I mean, I think this is good. I mean, the budget's back down to $150 million, and
I would have rather the budget been higher, but
I know that. But like I said, like for example, the motion picture, it had a really high budget. It didn't do very well. The Wrath of Khan lowered the budget, but it was a much better story. It was much more entertaining, and much it felt better. It could be the same with this new movie. Like they dialed down the budget, but it could be a lot better. And also, like Star Trek 09 looked pretty good. You like Star Trek 09, right?
yeah, I liked it.
It was good. I mean,
I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, they started filming it in 2007. They started filming it in 2007. And now they started filming Star Trek Beyond in 2015, like summer 2015. You can do a lot more with $150 million in summer 2015 than you could do back in summer 2007. Because, like I said, special effects and technology, everything gets better. So you can do a lot more, and it can look much better, as time goes on. So I have faith that I hope this will do good. I really do, because this is great. I love this movie. I mean, we have Idris Elba. I think he's a great actor. And I mean, you saw when he threw Kirk around on the Enterprise, he was really tough. This guy must be even stronger than Khan, man. I think he's stronger than Khan. I mean, I never saw Khan throw Kirk that high.
I agree, and we're gonna, as the time goes on, we're gonna have more news for Star Trek Beyond, and I think that we're gonna be doing another Real Trekkies cast on Thursday night.
Oh,
if we could, yeah. So we'll try to do another one on Thursday. We'll probably try to do an earlier start. I'm thinking maybe 8:30, so we have more time to talk. Only because when it gets this late, I have to go to sleep and I have to go to work early in the morning, and so right now it's after midnight. But I want to try to do a bigger Real Trekkies cast earlier. So that's the plan. That's the plan we're going to do. We're going to end this in a few minutes. So just say we have to say Daniel, and then we'll get out of here, and then we'll come back Thursday night. We'll make it no later than 9 o'clock.
So I'm like, oh my god, this is so exciting. I mean, I think it's awesome. And like I was also saying, the Wrath of Khan, it may not have made as much money as the motion picture, because the motion picture was crap. And by the time people found out it was crap, it already made the money it did. And because it was crap, people didn't really give Wrath of Khan much of a chance in the beginning. But then people found out Wrath of Khan was even better.
Well, I actually, that's not, because I was going to see the movie when I was little, Wrath of Khan, and the movie theater, because I was in there, dude. The movie theater was completely packed.
Well,
I don't think you were born. I mean, you weren't even born then, I don't think, right?
No.
Yeah, the movie theater was completely packed, and it was sold out. So regardless of what they say, whatever, I mean, everybody was going to see Wrath of Khan. Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think they should have made more money. I don't know why it made less money. It's just kind of hard to think about. Thinking like, if it was a better movie, why didn't it make as much money?
The thing you got to ask is how much money did it make on VHS and
yeah,
DVD and all that stuff, because it did phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good, and like this new series is also going to be written by Nicholas Meyer. Nicholas Meyer keeps on saying the series is going to be. He's hinting it's going to be great, and this is going to be different from the other series, and this is going to be so good. He knows he knows more than he lets on. He's not going to tell anything, of course, but
Right.
it's going to be really, really good. And so, oh my God, I just get more excited the more I think about it, And yeah, it's great. I love it. And
Makes me wonder where you can find the sales of the DVDs or the VHS, because I would really like to look into how much money the Wrath of Khan did with all those other things like VHS and stuff like that, rather than just the movie ticketing. I'm gonna have to try to look it up and see if I can find those numbers.
Yeah, like
also, I'm pretty sure it did tons.
Also, I gotta say, I am so glad that they kicked Roddenberry off Wrath of Khan. He wasn't involved in Wrath of Khan because I keep on saying this. I read this and I heard this. He hated.
He didn't like it. He didn't like it.
He didn't like it. He didn't like it. He hated the various themes of aging and loss. He hated the space battle.
But everybody loved it, though.
I know everybody loved it, but he hated it because he was like, "Oh, this is too dark, and this is all space battles, and this is a story of vengeance, and this isn't my story."
Basically shaped, next movies, and that was the way to go at the time.
And I'm like, well, you know what? You and your dumb ideas of it being slow and talky is the reason why the motion picture was horrible. It was horrible. It was slow. And look what happens when we have Roddenberry on board. We get the motion picture. We get Next Generation.
You know what it is? I don't see it as horrible. I mean, I really didn't like Star Trek V.
Yeah.
I felt that was horrible in my eyes. At least the motion picture was interesting because of all the different special effects and the concept of Voyager, existing for those centuries and stuff, trying to seek out life. But the thing is, the whole thing that went wrong with Five was just trying to. You shouldn't have went in that direction, and it wasn't really. It was kind of goofy and stupid. I mean, you don't want to see Kirk, Spock, and McCoy at a campfire roasting marshmallows. You want to see them in a spaceship, the Enterprise battling and searching and countering strange new worlds and aliens, and you don't want to see them just like we would do, like in a park or something. That was kind of like boring, and the fact that a Klingon apologizes, didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the whole thing of the god, that was like an alien, and it was stupid. It was really dumb.
They pretty much said God didn't exist. They were like I remember at the end they were like,
no, it wasn't that God didn't exist. It was that this guy was posing as God, this alien.
Yeah.
And he wasn't God. So not that God didn't exist. It's just that guy was trying to pretend to be God, and it wasn't God.
Yeah.
But it could have been so much better and darker, and they kind of ruined it, like I felt. Yeah. But all right, we have to go, Daniel.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Yeah.
And guys, please leave the comments below. Please subscribe. And if you wish to see more of Daniel and the Real Trekkies cast and myself and other guests, please leave us your suggestions. Daniel will read them on the air on Thursday. If you guys want us to review any movies or episodes, please leave it in the comments down below. Comment below, and Daniel will read all your stuff on the air. All right? Thank you very much. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye.